Welcome to episode 167 of WellsMania Podcast, aka the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world. I am your host, the Kyle Wells, aka WellsMania, and joining me, he is the world's greatest co-host, Payne, and our very special guest. You know him, you love him. He's the WWE Human Encyclopedia, Jared Giles. And fellas, I just want to start off this episode of WellsMania Podcast by simply saying, I am not a baby face. I am not a heel. I am a human being. That John Cena promo from this past Monday afternoon Raw was arguably one of the greatest promos that John Cena has ever cut. And I don't want to waste any more time. I want to dive head first, Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose style, and get your guys' thoughts on this John Cena promo. But first of all, welcome to episode 167. Are you guys still hyped from that Cena promo, or is it just me?
I mean, I thought it was the best Cena promo he's ever cut in his 25-year career. I thought it was phenomenal. It's what I've wanted from John Cena out of his 25-year career. It wasn't hokey. It wasn't over-exaggerated. It wasn't goofy, which is what Cena has done for decades. He's always come out and been like that Nickelodeon host style promo. And it was real. It was emotional. And it was something that everybody can relate to in some way, shape, or form. And that is what made it perfect. And by the end of it, you know, he answered questions, but then you still have more questions than answers. Like, one of the big things that I was wondering is, you know, when did John make this decision? When did he come to this realization? Is this a recent thing that he just, like, he had an epiphany that the fans have always been this way, and it's like he you know, lived long enough to become the villain? Or is this how John Cena has always felt internally? Is this his true belief that he's had for 25 years, and he finally is tired of wearing a fake smile and was like, you know what, I'm tired of giving this toxic relationship my energy. I'm done with it. I'm not going to fake this anymore.
Strong start right there. What about you, Jared?
Yeah, I felt that, a lot of it was really John speaking from the heart. Maybe, somewhat, amped for TV, but I'm sure with as much time and effort as you put in on the media appearances, all the Make-A-Wish, all that, and just being beat up by the travel on the road. You guys both know, you've done your shows as well. Like, after you work a match and, you go to the next town or whatever, you're like, after you work, it's a couple days that your body's beat up, and you wake up and do the media, you do that grind, and then you come out, and then after meeting six or seven, sick kids, and then 20,000 people chant, John Cena sucks. Like, I'm sure that's got to weigh on you emotionally, even though it's it's a performance or a character. Like, John Cena's real life name is John Cena. Like, there's no real separation of John Cena, the character, and John Cena, the real life human being. They've been one and the same for 25 years. So I'm sure some of that's got to him. And, those times in the car, or, a rough day, and then you think, I did this, and these people are like writing these signs like Cena can't wrestle, or the different things people have yelled or tweeted at him. So I think a lot of that was John going from the heart. And yeah, I thought it was a very strong promo. It gave you kind of, I think, the general kind of why he did it without going really without getting too specific, where you could kind of trip him up on, well, actually, blah, 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 like people love to do in this day and age.
John Felix Anthony Cena. That is his real name. And yeah, John has been real. He's been real his entire career. And nobody knows that better than yours truly, who has literally been down with John Cena since day one. John Cena didn't break up with me. John Cena broke up with you, and he broke up with all the wannabe fans who have not been loyal to John Cena since day one. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can question me and my loyalty to John Cena. And if you do, you haven't paid attention, and you just are ignorant and blind, and you just haven't been paying attention to me for the past 25 years, 23 years in WWE. But he was the prototype in OVW even before he came to the WWE. Nobody's been more loyal to John Cena than the Kyle Wells.
But what have you done for him? What have you really done for him?
What have you actually done for John?
Long before WellsMania, the Kyle Wells was a loyal fan to John Cena. And then the WellsMania came along, I'd say roughly about maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, and took me and my fandom to another level. But one thing has remained the same, is that is my loyalty to John Cena. Now, that Brussels crowd was so fucking awesome. I have not seen a crowd treat John Cena like that since ECW One Night Stand. That is the vibes that I got. Because when Cena's music hit, The Time Is Now music, he did not do what he has done for the past 20 years. No. He walked to the ring. He didn't exert the energy that he normally does. He gets in the ring, and he just gradually gets in to one of arguably the greatest promos that he has ever cut. And the crowd just absolutely let him hear it. Fuck you, Cena. Let's go, Cena. Cena sucks. Shut the fuck up. I mean, that Brussels crowd held back no punches. They showed ruthless aggression. And Cena simply opened it up by saying, "You are making this so easy for me. You see, for 25 years, I've been the victim, okay? I have been the victim of an abusive relationship." So, fellas, are we officially calling this promo the abusive relationship promo from John Cena?
I mean, yeah, because he's been in an abusive relationship with people like you. This is what's funny about it, is you say that he didn't break up with you, and anyone who thinks that you've been loyal is ignorant. Well, what we think is really irrelevant. The only thing that matters is John Cena doesn't think you've been loyal. John Cena doesn't think that you support him, even if you have. And that's what makes John Cena a villain now. He is, I mean, regardless of the truth that John Cena says, he's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite now. Because if it wasn't for the people like you that spend your money on every John Cena t-shirt, if it wasn't for people like you that go to see all of his movies, or buy all of his action figures, then John Cena wouldn't have a pot to piss in. He wouldn't be a multimillionaire. He wouldn't have a career. But John Cena obviously doesn't care about that anymore. So regardless of if you have been loyal or not, John Cena does not think you've been loyal.
And I've got a long list of reasons why I have been loyal since,
I guess, the question,
day one.
The question you'd have to ask is, could you convince John of this?
100%, without a doubt.
Would John look at you and go, "Well, I've also just been a toy for you. I've been a story that you've told for 15 years about drinking a PBR with me that you tried to turn into merch and sell."
Which I'm not allowed to tell that story anymore.
That's why the spinner belt that y'all gifted me. I had to retire that story. But that's why I brought it up. And so it's a great, and hey, the first The first real big issue with a breakup is denial. You don't want to believe that the person broke up with you.
And that goes both ways. That goes both ways. That goes with the person who initiated the breakup, and that goes with the person on the other end that received the breakup. And the quote, I've got a lot of quotes here from that John Cena promo, and this is the quote that the breakup quote. Well, listen to this. I'm breaking up with you. I'm done. I'm breaking up with every single person. Whether you like me or you don't, you're dumped. I don't need you anymore. I don't care about you, and you don't matter to me. And here's the thing. There's no noise you can make. There is nothing you can do because you know I'm right and you know you are wrong. So, Jared, when John Cena looks right into the camera and he fires and drops that quote, what goes through your mind?
I was thinking, like, this is what a uncut Cena would be. This is what people have been talking about since WrestleMania 28 and beyond. Like, what would John be if he wasn't the poster child? And it was, hey, don't need you anymore. And, thinking about it being this is his last run, like, he's got 8 months left. Why does he need us anymore? He's going to have the Peacemaker season 2 coming out.
I'm excited for.
He's got whatever other movie. I know he's filming a movie currently. That's what he flew after Elimination Chamber. He went to Budapest to finish it. So he's got things. He's got other shit to do after December. So why does he need us wrestling fans who have, in his mind, and maybe rightfully, I would say in a lot of ways, though, have taken advantage of his kindness and generosity for 20 plus years?
I know a lot about that because I related a lot to what John Cena said in his promo, because I have been so underappreciated for 38 years of my life. Now, there's a certain few of people who have actually supported me and they root for me to succeed and to thrive. But that list, the older I get, is getting smaller and smaller. So when John cut that promo, I felt like he's been holding that in for a very long time. And the time is now. Like you said, Jared, John has nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing left to prove. The dude has literally done everything that there is to do in this business. Now, of course, he can continue to add to his GOAT resume by winning number 17 and breaking Ric Flair's record, obviously getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, potentially, possibly, maybe, I don't know, win the Intercontinental title at some point in 2025 and become a Grand Slam champion. Those are some accolades that he has yet to accomplish, but in the realm of possibility, all three of those things are right there. So you're right, man. Him finally having the opportunity to probably do something that he's been wanting to do for a very long time. Because let's face it, when everybody was booing John Cena, they were booing me as well. And you got to witness that firsthand, Jared. All the times that I would cosplay as John Cena with the spinner belt, the jorts, whatever shoes John Cena was wearing, I went out and bought the same shoes that John Cena was wearing. I wore knee pads underneath my jorts because I was ready to fight at any given moment. I doubled up on the wristbands because Cena doubled up on the wristbands. I had a military fade because Cena had a military fade. I was a babyface because Cena was a babyface. John Cena isn't just my favorite WWE wrestler. Outside of my mom and dad, John Cena is the biggest inspiration in my life.
He don't care anymore, though.
I have never, ever related to a professional wrestler, athlete, or anybody in this life than I have to John Cena. And when he cut this promo, I related to him even more. Even though he was looking at us and saying he doesn't need us anymore, I don't care, because I felt every fucking word that John Cena said in that promo, because you know how long I've been waiting for this. You know how long I've been wanting to stop playing Mr. Nice Guy, being the babyface WellsMania. You know how many times I've taken the high road. You know how many times I've bitten my tongue. You know how many times I've held back what I really wanted to say. I've done that more times than I've wanted to. But Cena keeps finding ways to inspire me. And him dropping this promo has now unleashed something inside of me that I have been wanting to let loose for a very long time. So we might be on a warpath of a heel human being, WellsMania, because he dropped this. Look, I'm not a babyface. I'm not a heel. I'm a human being. And each and every one of you has been awful to me. You've been awful. And it's been the same damn noise for 25 years. And I'm going to keep throwing quotes out here, but anything that you guys want to throw out there as well, feel free to.
I mean, I've always been in the Cena sucks category, so I know what he thinks of me. But as far as you go, I mean, like, a lot of that promo was directed at people like you. I mean, like, he made specific comments. I mean, the one comment, and you just said you wore the shirts, you shaved your head, you got the same shoes. A direct quote from him was, "You dress like me. I don't dress like you idiots." You know,
yeah, I think he said you've stolen from me.
You stole my image, you stole my moments, you've stolen everything from me. You know, you've made me the butt of an invisible joke for 20 years. That's not funny.
Here's that quote. You claim to support me. What have you ever done? What have you ever done to support me? What have you ever done for me? All you ever do is steal from me. You steal my personal moments. You steal my time. You have made me your freaking toy. I am an object to you. You have made me the butt of a stupid invisible joke for 15 years, and you still think it's funny. It's not funny. It is pathetic. You are pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm channeling my inner Cena right now.
In a way,
I can feel it by delivering these quotes.
And he is right, because like I said earlier, the core of this promo was, it's so relatable, you know, because like you said, it hit me too. Like what he was saying in that promo is something that everyone can relate to in some way, shape, or form, whether it's been a friendship, a family member, a significant other. Everyone has gone through something where you feel like you give an individual everything you can give them, and then they just don't give it back, and it's never enough. And eventually you finally just hit your breaking point, and you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired of being nice, you know? And that is what made this promo so great. And the other thing that made it great was his explanation for why we didn't get a new theme or a new look. I loved it, because going into this, I thought he has to change his look. He has to get a new theme. He can't be the same John Cena with all the colors and stuff and be a heel. But in one line of dialogue, he totally changed my opinion on that, where he goes, you know, that's what you guys want. You want a new theme. You want a new look. That would be cool for you. You would have fun with that. And guess what? You don't get what you want. You get what you deserve, and what you deserve is absolutely nothing.
Here is the and bear with me, Jared. I'll get your thoughts on this in just a second. This is from John Cena. I put my values on the line to make a very important choice in my life, and all you could think was, what do we get? My story changed, and all you asked was, what do we get? John Cena is coming to my town. What do we get? This is trending. What do we get? Not one of you sons of bitches asked me how I feel. It's just, what do we get? What do we get? What do we get? What do we get? You get nothing. You get what you have earned. And what you have earned is nothing. You don't get a new look because you dress like me. I don't dress like you idiots. You don't get new music. That is my voice on that song. And your time is finally up. and my time is finally now. Damn, man, I feel
right.
fired up.
We don't need
a
a reciting of the whole promo.
Woo!
Calm yourself down a little bit.
Damn, I think I popped the mic a couple times. But Jared, when John Cena says all that, what's going through your mind there?
Yeah, I mean, there had been a lot of discussion over the last 3 weeks, basically since his actions at Elimination Chamber, and everyone was guessing, he's going to get new music and the new look and new tights, and I appreciated the you get nothing, and I also think in a way like it also like sticks it to the fans. Because for so long, they've, you've heard those horns and everyone jumps up and it's, yay, John Cena's here. And now it's like, no, you're going to hear my horns. You're going to see me slowly walk to the ring, no longer jogging. I'm not going to talk to Stu. I'm not going to do any of that.
Poor Stu.
I'm going to take my time, and you're going to listen to my words on my theme song. And I'm doing this last run or 17 for me because you've taken the other 16. This is all for me. And as you guys have both said, there's something very powerful, even with a person or character that we've known for 20 plus years, to, I guess, kind of seize their own power back. Whereas John's always been people, the power of the people in the WWE universe. And now it's like, I'm doing this for John Cena.
Yeah. And it's a very valuable life lesson, because when you try to please everybody, you're going to fail every single time. You might win a handful of people, but if you're trying to please everybody, it's never going to work. And I think you reach a breaking point where, okay, I've done this for all these years for everybody else, but now it's really time to shift and protect my peace, my mental health, and actually do this for me. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, because it's okay to be selfish when you have given so much for so long. And I think this is going to open up a lot of people's eyes to really embrace this run, because John is giving people what they have wanted for a very long time. And now that you're getting it, I hope, you know what they say, be careful what you wish for, because it might just come true. I hope that this is what every single John Cena hater has been wanting for a very long time. Last quote here. When I first got here in WWE, you let me know really loud that you hated me. Yeah. Moments of embarrassment, moments of shame, just like this. You let me know that I wasn't worthy of your attention. So what did I do? I went and I changed myself, hoping that you would like me a little bit. And it worked for a second, but then it wasn't enough. So what did I do? I worked hard like I always do. And I started to win and win and win and win and win and win and win. And I won a lot. And you hated it. I didn't. I loved every win that John Cena has ever won. I have loved every match that John Cena has ever been in. So I love that John Cena finally got a chance to tell his truth, because he's right. Everything that John Cena said in that promo, he's right. So I love it. I loved everything that John Cena delivered. And yeah, Payton, I know he said that he broke up with me and blah, blah, blah.
So, but you're admitting.
I don't care, because I know the truth. I know my truth. And I know that I've been loyal to John Cena since day one. He knows.
He doesn't know. He broke up with you. He said, I'm breaking up with everyone. He didn't. Sure. His promo didn't say, I'm breaking up with everyone except that one guy, WellsMania. He said, I'm breaking up with everyone. He was thinking that in his mind.
Here's the thing, though. He'll come back. He'll come back around when the time is right for him to come back around. And I feel like they're going to, and that's something that the three of us can discuss here is, okay, now that John Cena cut this promo, and next Monday afternoon on Raw, because Raw is once again overseas for a Glasgow show. So I think it's a 4 p.m. start time for us, which, by the way, I love the early start times because when Raw ended, I wasn't tired. I wasn't falling asleep. I was wide awake and hyped and so ready for episode 167 to roll around so we could talk about what we watched. We will dive into what we think is going to be the turning point for Cena. But before we do that, we got to address Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes came out and Cody looked right into Cena's eyes and said, "This isn't the John Cena that I want to wrestle at WrestleMania 41. This version of John Cena is nothing more than a whiny bitch." Mic drop, walked away. I thought that was executed perfectly. Your guys' thoughts on Cody Rhodes?
Yeah, this is going to go off into like a little tangent on just fans and being fickle and thinking they know better.
Do it.
But
the floor is yours.
You know how many people I've already had reach out to me and say that they hated that moment because it's like, oh, how many, like I've literally probably had almost a dozen messages and people tell me like, oh, they're already protecting Cody. They didn't let Cena like rebuttal his response because Cena would bury Cody on the mic.
Was that one of them from Dion Freeman?
He was one of them. Yes.
I figured.
But I'm like, guys, we still have a month left before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Be patient. How have people not learned to be patient yet? You can't give everything away in one night. And also, if Cena was to just bury Cody Rhodes on the mic right there, well, then guess what? Now our WWE Undisputed Champion looks like an idiot going into WrestleMania. And we can't have that happen.
Exactly.
Okay? And regardless of if John Cena buries him on the mic, okay, well, then what about the fact that John Cena still hasn't won a singles match in 8 years? What about the fact that John Cena probably sold his soul to The Rock because he knows that he can't get the job done by himself anymore? There are arguments that Cody can make to rebuttal anything John Cena says at this point. So instead of people just wanting everything right now and trying to say that something sucks because they didn't get this thing in this particular promo, John Cena is going to be around the next 2 Monday Night Raws. Yeah. We have a lot more promos to give. Give it time.
And also, maybe you guys, the people who have sent those messages to you, maybe you missed the part of the promo where John Cena said, "You get nothing." Don't you think everybody wanted John Cena to fire back at Cody? But he didn't give you that. He let Cody walk away. He listened. He let the word sink in. And then he looked at disgust at all the people there in Germany. And he did it very slowly. And then he was just like, okay. And then he slowly walked backwards. Didn't look back at the crowd for that last pop. Didn't do the raising the knuckles like he does. It was, let it sink in and I'm just walking away because you all want me to fire back rapper John Cena, cutting him down, and I'm not going to give it to you.
No. And that should be even scarier because silence is the greatest weapon. You know, you truly know when someone is changed when they just don't say anything. When you know how bad it feels to be, I'm sure both of you guys have been in situations. There's nothing worse than being ghosted by somebody that you don't want to be ghosted by, where you message them, they don't respond, you don't get the answer you want, they leave you on open, whatever the case may be. That's what happened with John at the end of that promo. He ghosted everybody. He ghosted the audience. He ghosted Cody Rhodes. And that's even scarier than him going into a Thugonomics promo on Cody Rhodes. Because it's like, what is he going to do? Like
Yeah.
we've never seen this John Cena before. We don't know what he's capable of.
Less is more. Less is more.
I'm thinking Monday is going to be a bad time for Cody Rhodes because I don't think John's going to respond verbally. Let's say that. I think what happened at Elimination Chamber that might have been light work compared to what happens Monday.
And you got to remember who John is in league with. John is in league with the man that beat Cody Rhodes senseless in a parking lot while it was raining a year ago and said, "You don't fuck with the final boss." That's how The Rock responds. So if John Cena has truly sold his soul to The Rock, if The Rock tells John Cena, "I want you to eviscerate this guy physically," that's what John Cena is going to do. There's deeper levels to this. And that's another question that we still have to answer is, what is the relationship between John Cena and The Rock? Why did John Cena sell his soul to the final boss? Did he sell his soul to The Rock because he thinks that he can't get the job done by himself anymore? Like, why did he contact Dwayne Johnson and say, if Cody won't take it, I will? What was the agreement that was made?
Yeah, you nailed it, Peyton. Most fans do not have patience. Most fans want it right then, right there, and now. They want instant satisfaction, gratification, whatever you want to say. But that's not how this works, especially with The Rock. We say this on WellsMania Podcast all the time. The Rock is a long game storyteller. The Rock is trying to teach you to enjoy the motherfucking ride that you are on. Enjoy it. But a lot of fans don't know how. And we all talk about this all the time. Fans have been so spoon-fed for a very long time that you just need to enjoy the ride you are on, and you need to just have the patience, because everything will pay off when it's supposed to. And the beauty is, if you're patient on the entire run and the ride, when that payoff hits, damn, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. I was going to say, we're not being spoon-fed anymore. We're having a 5-course meal with wine tasting in between each course, where you have to sit and let your palate adjust to everything and truly figure out what the flavors are. That's the kind of storytelling we're doing now.
And I'm going to tell you, the older you get, when you actually slow down and you start taking your time with things, you actually appreciate them more. Like eating. How many people just fly through whatever meal they're eating? Probably a lot. Do you actually taste what you're eating? Hell no, because you ate it so damn fast you couldn't enjoy it. But if you actually sit there and you got that big old juicy burger from Five Guys Burgers and Fries, and you take your time, one bite at a time, man, that burger is going to taste even better than if you were to scarf it down, because that's pro wrestling right now. Being patient with the stories that are unfolding before your eyes and actually embracing what's going on, man, you'd be surprised how happier you will be watching the product. Instead of wanting something right then and there and not getting it, and then going on social media and bitching and complaining and being a little whiny crybaby, that gets you nowhere. And it makes you look like an idiot. It just makes you look like a jabroni. It makes you look like an entitled little prick. And honestly, I thought Michael Cole calling John Cena a prick was really funny. I popped for that when Cole gave his 2 cents after the John Cena promo. But yeah, fellas, a lot of wrestling fans lack the patience. But if they just take their time and enjoy what we are getting on a week-to-week basis. Now, it's fun to look down the road, but you got to do that with some, you got to put your expectations in check. And we love speculating on the road to WrestleMania and beyond, but we also embrace the product as it's unfolding in real time.
Now, let me preface it. There's nothing wrong with not liking chapters of a storyline as they come out. Like, for instance, right now, I'll be the first to admit, I'm not enjoying the women's world title story that we're getting going into WrestleMania. I don't really like it. I think it hasn't made anybody look that good in the story. It's just not for me. But I'm not going to sit here and bash things that we haven't gotten yet because they could give us those things. But up to this point, I have not enjoyed it. But that's a different feeling than hating on something because you don't have the patience to see it play out because you haven't gotten it yet.
And what did I say? I told you that Rhea Ripley was going to make this a triple threat match, and I fucking love the way that she did it. She marched right down there. She beat the shit out of both Io and Bianca, and then ripped the contract and signed her name on it, took the contract with her, and Pierce is chasing after her.
It still makes her, this is why I don't like it. I think everybody imagined it was probably going to go triple threat, but it's like, the way that it's just making her look like a whiny child. And it's not mommy. It's not Rhea Ripley. It's making Charlotte look right from Charlotte's promo a month and a half ago where she's like, you're just a whiny kid. Well, now Charlotte's right because Rhea Ripley looks like a whiny kid. And I think that it's affected Rhea Ripley's aura a little bit going into WrestleMania. I think that Io is the third wheel here. I don't think nobody expects Io to walk out of WrestleMania as the champion. And honestly, it feels like it hurts Io more than does anything for her because everybody's looking at this situation going, we didn't really want you in this situation to begin with. And now we have to kind of like be okay with it, you know? And then Bianca hasn't really done anything. Bianca feels like a fish out of water, like she should be involved in another storyline, but she's not. She's involved in this storyline.
Well, she is involved in another storyline.
Exactly.
Jade and Naomi, that's the storyline she's involved in.
It's just all around. I feel like that is a story that up to this point is being stitched together very poorly, and it has not made any of those three women look better for it. And maybe they'll turn it around, but as of right now, that's just how I feel about it.
Jared, what are your thoughts on Rhea, Io, and Bianca?
Yeah, well, I mean, the triple threat, Elimination Chamber pretty much confirmed it was going to be a triple threat when they did the thing with Bianca one post-match. Rhea came out, and then Io came out, and they did the shot of all three of them standing the aisle way. I was like, oh, we're doing a triple threat match at Mania. Like, that's clearly what we're setting up here. I'm a big Io Sky fan. I think you both well know that. So, I have no problem with her being the champion or going into it. I think that the way they had booked Rhea from SummerSlam until the Netflix debut, they made Rhea bigger than the women's title, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like her star power made her above the division.
Yeah.
And then you had then she won the title from Liv, which was the end of that story. So you had to do it, but then it was like, okay, cool. She won the title. Now what?
Yeah.
And in this process of now what, you didn't have her at the Rumble. You didn't have her at Chamber. And then it was kind of like, oh, she did a thing. She started a little small program with Io. And then that led to the title angle at Mania, and I think they're trying to feel out kind of what the audience is going to get behind. Rhea gets big pops, but I don't think Rhea's character plays as a babyface. She's strong. She's presented as stronger and bigger and tougher than the rest of the division. So how is she supposed to get sympathy as a babyface? The numbers game? Are you like, how many times can you do the Liv, Raquel, Dom sort of stacking the deck sort of thing without it getting stale? Yeah. And with the whole Bianca, Naomi, Jade, I think they're seeing how the audience reacts to Bianca. Do we believe her that she had nothing to do with it? And Naomi just kind of Rikishi did it for Bianca's situation, or
I did it for Bianca.
And I mean, you saw the crowd in Brussels. They cheered Io over Bianca, and Bianca got some boos. So maybe it's going to set up a Bianca heel turn at Mania or after. So I think it's a lot of, we've got our 3 big women stars on Raw. We put them together. We kind of see what the crowd does and go from there. It's not maybe the best creative, but I understand where they went with it, because I'm not sure what else you could do with the situation they have on the Raw Women's division.
Yeah,
I think
you made a good point about Rhea. I feel like she got too big too fast. I feel like she got too untouchable. I mean, it was like, damn, they threw Rhea Ripley to the moon, and she's the only person up there walking around. And it's like, if nobody can come up there with her and be a credible threat, then what do we do with Rhea Ripley? Because mommy's on top, and when mommy's on top and she's the only one up there, you can only be up there and on top for so long until, like you said, it gets to the point where we got to go a different route. We got to do something different with Rhea, because if nobody can beat her, then what's the fucking point of having her at the top with no credible threats below her? Which takes me to another superstar that kind of has that same vibe, and that's Jey Uso. Like, what the hell is going on with Jey Uso? Like, I feel like the dude got so hot so quick, and he got so big so fast that WWE is trying to cool Jey Uso down on the road to WrestleMania. And in a way, it's kind of killing his momentum.
You know what?
As he's going into the match with Gunther.
Here's what happened with Jey. This is the problem that Jey is facing, is he has cooled off, and it has nothing to do. It's not his fault that he cooled off. The problem is that they've put him against Gunther at a point in time where people aren't ready to see Gunther's title reign end, because as of right now, as fans, we feel like we've been robbed of a true Gunther world title reign. Like, from the moment Gunther won that title up until now, it hasn't felt like Gunther. It like, there's been something off about it. It feels like Gunther's aura dropped. And now going into WrestleMania, we're sitting here going, well, we love Jey Uso, but I don't want to see Jey Uso take Gunther's title, because I feel I'm not satiated with Gunther's title reign yet. I don't feel like Jey Uso has earned this moment from Gunther yet, because I don't even think Gunther has peaked as this champion as of right now.
He hasn't. So he has not peaked as the world champ.
And so I feel like people are like, as much as I want to see Jey do it, I don't want to see him do it at the expense of Gunther, when we're not ready to see the end of Gunther yet, because we know as fans that Gunther has so much more to give to that title. So that's the problem with Jey, is I feel like he was put in a situation where people, like, as much as we want it, we don't want it at the expense of Gunther, because we know that we haven't gotten what we want out of Gunther yet.
What did you guys think of that botch from Jey Uso?
Oh, God, he flop dollied it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I mean, it's hard to say botch, because, like, who knows? Maybe his knee buckled. Maybe his foot got caught on the mat. You can't really bash the guy for it, because we legitimately don't know what went wrong. Right. And he's done that move a million times, so it's not like he can't do it.
Yeah, it could have just been a slip up. I mean, those happen all the time. You and I know, also, firsthand in the ring, we slip up all the time.
It's one of those things, man, that's like, the timing of a botch like that is not good, because now all it does is give all these people that don't want Jey in this situation, it gives them more ammo. And it's like, This is the guy that we had win the Royal Rumble. This is the guy that's going to be beating the unstoppable Gunther at WrestleMania. It could not have been a worse timed botch.
Yeah. Now, I did think of this, and Jared and Peyton, you can kind of walk with me here with this. Jay said that he hasn't been himself lately. So I'm kind of thinking maybe they can turn that botch around and just chalk it up to, man, I really have lost a little step here lately. I'm in my own head. I got to get back to that yeet. I got to get back to being on the top. I won the Royal Rumble. I feel like maybe that's the road that we're going with Jay here to WrestleMania, maybe making him look like he is capable of making these flaws and getting people to doubt him, because then the payoff will be he turns it around a couple weeks going into WrestleMania. He looks like he's back to his old Jey Uso self, and then he does what he's supposed to do and beat Gunther at WrestleMania. Maybe that's what we're getting here with Jey Uso.
I'm going to throw this out here, and I'm curious to get your guys' opinions on it. I feel like up to this point, everyone has assumed Jey Uso is winning the title at WrestleMania. I think the moment he won the Royal Rumble, you're like, yeah, especially after the Saturday night's main event thing, he's never beaten Gunther.
Yeah.
The stage is set. You're like, how many world title matches can Jey Uso get and fail before he just finally, the fans are like, I'm done with him. I don't care anymore. It seemed like the perfect setup for that big final payoff moment. Like, okay, he finally did it. But the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, the more I'm talking about it, where, I just went on that rant about, I don't feel like Gunther has peaked yet as champion. And that is the thing that is the catalyst for why people are treating Jey this way. What are the chances that Gunther wins? What are the chances that Gunther, that this is the moment? Because Gunther is the ultimate spoiler. What are the chances that this is the moment that gets Gunther back to that level and be like, that thing that you all thought was 100% going to happen? Yeah, it's not. And Jey Uso is not ready to be world champion, and Gunther beats him at WrestleMania. Would that kill Jey Uso? Like, how would because I feel like that might be the route we go, but I don't know if it's too risky, because if they ever want to use Jey Uso in that position, can he recover from that?
He can. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough road, because at some point, you kind of Lex Luger him.
Great reference.
Well, because WCW did it in the late 80s, and then obviously his time in WWF did it. And then, he did win the titles, the WCW title a couple times, but, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't almost like you're talking about Gunther. It wasn't what it could have been, because people were like, I wanted this a while ago. I don't necessarily want it now.
Yep.
For different reasons.
Yeah.
So you could, I think you're probably doing him a great disservice, and you may not get that momentum back. So sometimes I think you got to make a decision, and even if it's the wrong one. And that's the great thing about the whole pro wrestling thing. Like, like in real sports, like if somebody wins the world, like Super Bowl World Series, like you're stuck with that for another season.
Yeah.
If the Jey Uso title reign doesn't hit after 2 weeks, he can drop the title at Backlash. He can drop the title at Saturday night's main event. Like, you're not married to a 6-month title reign, I don't think. And I think that's that's sort of the beauty of how things can change, because like you said, like we thought, Jay's going to win the title for sure. Now we're like, I don't know, maybe it's not the time. Like, and I'm sure that, there's probably multiple ideas in front of Triple H, and then he'll make a decision April 15th or something like that.
Well, you just
the
mention
week
something?
Of WrestleMania.
You just mentioned something, and could this be the solution? I think going into this match, I think that the bad taste in everybody's mouth is one way or another. You feel like someone is going to get disserviced from this, because you're like, I don't want to see Gunther's reign end yet, because I don't feel like he's really hit that stride that we want him to hit. But then also, I feel like Jey Uso beating a Gunther that has not been on top of his A game does Jey a disservice. So could the thing that saves all of this be like, let Jey win the title, let him get his moment at WrestleMania, let him open WrestleMania Saturday night 1 by beating Gunther in a great match and have that moment. And then the way to get people behind Jey Uso again is like, fans are fickle. We know this. Give him the moment, and then just like they did with the IC title, rip it from them.
Yeah.
You have Gunther immediately win the championship back at Backlash. Clean. Beats him. And then people will be like, those sons of bitches. They did a disservice to Jey Uso. They gave him his moment, and then they ripped it from him again. Now you have people back on the Jey Uso train, but now you're also making Gunther you're giving Gunther some momentum back, being like, yeah, he got his moment, but it was a fluke, and I proved it, and now I have the title back, and I'm going to go on the run that everybody thinks I should have gone on.
I think that's the ultimate payoff, is having Jey Uso get his moment at WrestleMania. I thought he was a modern day Daniel Bryan, but Jared calling him a modern day Lex Luger. If he does not win the title at Mania, then yes, he's more of a modern day Lex Luger than he is a modern day Daniel Bryan. But I think the payoff here is exactly what Payton just laid out. You have Jey get his moment, have him beat Gunther at WrestleMania, and then at WrestleMania Backlash, you can have Gunther defeat Jey, because he'll have about a month to figure out, well, what the hell went wrong, and then he can really go into that next level of Gunther that we know he can.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes out and just absolutely destroys Jey to get that title back. And like Payton said, then he can go on the title run that we have been wanting him to, because I think he's got to get over the Jey Uso obstacle that's in his way.
Yeah.
The Yeet Mania that Gunther is about to run wild with. He's got to get through that, which he ultimately will succumb to it, but eventually he'll learn from it and he'll get that Backlash redemption and reclaim the title. Fellas, I love that we went from the John Cena promo into the latest on the road to WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, we got to give the people what they've been wanting this whole episode, and that is the results from the Sweet 16 of the WellsMania Madness greatest WrestleMania match of all time bracket. We are about to reveal who will be advancing to the Elite Eight. Now, neither one of you guys have looked at the polls, so you have no idea who has won these matchups.
This will be legitimate reactions.
I love it. Raw, authentic reactions. Well, let me go to the bracket here, and thank you to everybody who got on WellsMania Twitter and WellsMania Facebook and voted. Now, before I reveal these matchups, do we want to go through and tell, like when I talk about the seeds, who we picked? Because I know the three of us voted.
Yeah, I mean, we can give our quick picks real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So we had the number 1 overall seed, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 versus the number 16 seed, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania XL. Now, fellas, the results are in. 56 votes, and we've got ourselves the biggest upset in the bracket already. 73% to 27%. This wasn't even close.
I'm not shocked.
I'm not really shocked either.
Cody versus Roman beats Hogan versus Andre, or should I say Cody versus Roman body slams Hogan versus Andre to advance into the Elite Eight. Now, both of you say you're not shocked. Does that mean both of you guys voted for Cody and Roman?
No, I voted Andre Hogan because I legitimately think that was the bigger moment. But I'm not shocked because it's a recency bias, like Jared said last week. And, people's opinions of Hulk Hogan also probably don't help. So
Right.
I think the recency bias of everybody still kind of coming off of that high of that match last year. I'm not shocked that this upset Hogan Andre at all.
I'm a little bummed. I'm not going to lie, because I voted for Hogan and Andre as well as you both did. And I think it's bullshit. I think it's bullshit that Hogan versus Andre lost. All of the people who hate Hulk Hogan for their personal reasons, that is the reason why Hogan versus Andre lost this matchup, is because people can't separate reality from wrestling and they take it too personal. I don't like Hulk Hogan. He's a fucking racist. Well, okay, fuck you. I mean, that's not this. This was Hogan versus Andre. That has nothing to do with Hogan's comments 20-something years, 30-something years after this match when he made him. But that's the thing, man, is people can't separate reality from greatness. And in my opinion, I don't give a fuck what the fans voted for. Hogan versus Andre is advancing.
No, you can't do that.
I can do whatever I want. I'm WellsMania. I'm taking a page out of John Cena's book. I'm sick and tired of people bitching and complaining about Hulk Hogan. Without Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't be here right now.
You can't do that. You have to advance what the people what they voted for, because if you don't give the people what they voted for, then that you don't give them a reason to ever vote again.
I don't fucking care about the people. What have they ever done for me? They've not done anything for me.
They're the viewers of this show.
You know what? The only viewers that we need are the three of us right here. We don't need anybody else out there. No one's watching this right now. I can literally say and do whatever I want, and nobody will give a damn.
You're breaking. I feel like, are we doing a double turn here? You're going heel and I'm going babyface. What is happening?
I'm just testing the waters here. Yes, Cody versus Roman advances into the Elite Eight.
I will say that there may actually be people like, that didn't grow up or haven't watched that match as much.
Yeah.
That actually do think that Cody Roman is better. And that's totally fine. I do disagree with anyone that voted, with other ideas in their head and wasn't looking at it from a moment match perspective and used their emotions to vote. I don't think you should ever use your emotions to vote with anything. But again, I'm not shocked. So, I guess Cody Roman advances.
The next matchup is the number 8 seed Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat from WrestleMania 3 versus number 9 Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle from WrestleMania 21. And after 53 votes, fellas, this one was super tight. So tight, it was like Kurt Angle putting you in an ankle lock. Randy Savage versus Steamboat advances in to the Elite Eight, 55% to 45%.
That's close. I voted for the upset here. I voted Michaels Angle for this one. I legitimately think it was the better match of the two. I'm not again though. I'm not shocked. I think Macho Steamboat is renowned by many as the greatest technical wrestling match in WrestleMania history. Yeah. But I did kind of want to see the upset happen.
I wanted to see a battle of WrestleMania 3 in the Elite Eight. I wanted to see Hogan versus Andre versus Savage versus Steamboat, two of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time going head to head. But unfortunately, we're only going to get half of that. But I did vote for Savage Steamboat. What about you, Jared?
Yeah, I would have voted for Savage Steamboat. Nothing against HBK and Angle. That was a fantastic match. But more going on a personal, like growing up, the Savage Steamboat match was replayed a lot and on videotapes and re-released and best ofs and all that. So, and, hearing guys like Jericho and all that talk about, hey, that was one of the matches that, made me think I could really be a pro wrestler. I watched that and did that exact match with my best friends in my living room. Whereas Sean and Kurt, I was in college, so it didn't have the same, I guess, warm and fuzzies for me. It's a great match, but I don't have as nostalgic of a look back factor, I guess. So,
and by the way, Shawn Michaels is going to be fine. He's in this bracket quite a bit. He can't win them all, but he did win this next one. The number 4 seed, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 versus number 13, The Undertaker versus Triple H, WrestleMania 28, end of an era. And this was not close. 53 votes. Taker versus HBK is advancing to the Elite Eight, 87% to 13%. Peyton, I know this disappoints you.
Oh no, it does.
You love End of an Era.
I did, and I voted for it. I voted for End of an Era. I think storyline wise, it is the better match. I'm not disappointed because I think they're both incredible matches. I am shocked at
how one-sided
it is.
Yeah.
Because I feel like End of an Era is a very, very beloved match. I thought this would be a much closer vote than what it is. But hey, there is a lot of people who truly believe Taker and Shawn at 25 is the greatest match in WrestleMania history. So,
yeah, and I've been getting a lot of people who've actually already filled out their bracket, and a lot of people have Taker, HBK, WrestleMania 25 as their winner. Mm-hmm. So I think early on, Taker versus HBK, WrestleMania 25 is going to be a tough out, especially after dominating the End of an Era here. Jared, who did you vote for in this one?
I went personally Undertaker and Shawn, the WrestleMania 25 match. I am surprised it was as one-sided as it was. I think that may we'll see how some of these other brackets go, but it seems like the WellsMania listeners are more in-ring, lean more towards the in-ring than the story. In-ring, I think, as just bell-to-bell action, Undertaker Shawn was the better match. That's why I went with it. But for as Peyton said, moments and storyline, it was definitely End of the Era. So I think that might give a hint as what some other results may be a little later on.
Yeah, no doubt. I voted for Taker and Triple H because I was there, so I had the I was there factor when I voted for this, and I think it just makes a difference when. And I know you were at both, Jared. You were at both of these matches, so it applies to you one way or the other. Yeah. But Peyton and I were both there at 28, and it just felt so fucking good seeing that match live in person, and you really just had a personal connection to it. So anytime WrestleMania 28 pops up and anything, I always gravitate towards it. Same with WrestleMania 8 here in Indianapolis, WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta, Georgia, even though there were a couple of matches from that card that absolutely sucked. But WrestleMania 23, I mean, those are the live WrestleManias that I was at, and those matches just hit different when you're there live. Mm-hmm. So, this one was very surprising how dominant Taker HBK won to advance. The next matchup is the old 512. The old 512 upset special. Number 5, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13 versus number 12, The Undertaker versus Kane at WrestleMania 14.
No upset here.
No, quite the opposite. I
kind of figured, I mean, I know we had in that hour-long discussion, there was some discussion of like, are we really sure people really love the submission match at 13? And I was like, yeah, they do.
Yeah. Stone Cold, after 53 votes, Stone Cold versus Hitman absolutely dominated Taker Kane 94% to 6%. This was the biggest dominating performance in the Sweet 16 to kick off this bracket. And if that's any indication of what's to come, this is also a tough out.
Yeah. I did vote for Austin, Brett.
What? I thought you were going to... By God, son of a bitch!
No, because I said it earlier. I don't like when people vote based on emotions. And I tried to legitimately vote based on what I thought what the better match was. And as much as I love Undertaker Kane, and I think that it rightfully does deserve to be on this list, and we were told that by the universe the next day when they had a watch along for this match with the Undertaker and Kane sitting down watching it, which was a great video, by the way. Yeah, loved hearing their insight into that match.
I love when wrestlers go back and do that.
Yeah. Brett in Austin it's one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. The double swerve is renowned. I mean, you could call that one of the greatest both heel and babyface turns in wrestling history just by the way it was done in the actual match itself, and it was done organically. I think that one's going to be very hard to take down.
Yeah, that one possibly could make a deep run. Now, Jared, what did I text you that there were 431 total votes?
Yes.
And I think the stipulation to reveal the other matchup,
it was 500, wasn't it?
I think it was 800, which might have set the bar a little too high.
They'll have to.
It's your show. We can tell it if you want, or if you want to keep.
No, I think we keep it a mystery.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep it. I did have several people want to know.
Of course.
What was the other matchup for the play-in game?
They got their friends and family to vote.
and I told them, I said, if we get 800 votes, we'll reveal it. We did not get there. We got a little over halfway.
You know what? As John Cena said, sometimes you get what you earn, and they didn't earn it.
True.
That's true. They get nothing.
They get nothing.
That takes us to the other side of the bracket. And we've got Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18, which was the number 2 seed, going up against once in a lifetime, the number 15 seed John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 20.
Which Rock match won?
After 54 votes being tallied up, no upset here. Get my John Cena on the ramp after The Rock beat him. Picture ready to go. Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock wins 78% to 22%.
Wow.
I expect that to be closer.
I thought that'd be closer. I mean, I voted for Hogan Rock. I think I've made it very clear. That's one of my all-time favorite matches. That's the one that I'll be rooting to win the whole bracket. No Hogan bias here, obviously.
It's hard to hate this one.
Yeah, because it's that good. That's the problem with it, is you can't watch the match without getting goosebumps. But Rock Cena is just as good. I didn't think Rock Cena would beat Hogan Rock, but I didn't think it would be that much of a blowout.
Yeah, I agree. I voted, obviously, for once in a lifetime. Once again, I was there. The three of us were there. Makes a big difference when you're there watching this. This is the whole reason why I went to WrestleMania 28 down in Miami and haven't been back to WrestleMania since. It took John Cena at his last WrestleMania to get me to go back to WrestleMania. So, yeah, I was a little bummed that Cena Rock didn't win, but I knew that it was going up against a powerhouse in Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock. Jared, your take on this matchup? You said you voted for Hogan Rock?
Yeah, I did. And I mean, I know it shouldn't matter, but I think crowd is a gigantic factor, because I know there's an old joke, like if you watch Rock and Hogan on mute, it's a maybe, a 2-star match if you're doing the Meltzer thing. But you pop that unmute off, it goes up to a 5-star match. So
yep.
Game changer.
Obviously, Cena Rock was in a stadium. It was outdoors, so that's hard to get crowd. That's harder to get noise anyway. There are some moments, but just the way the stadium against arenas are built and things like that. So I went Rock Hogan. So I'm just surprised again by the total amount, but not that it won.
Just like Cena losing to The Rock, I lost this matchup as well. That takes us to number 7, Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon at WrestleMania 10 versus the number 10 seed, Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania 17. This one is an upset. We've got TLC 2 after 53 votes, beating HBK Razor Ramon 62% to 38%. I thought this was going to be HBK Razor. I thought that match was going to win, but apparently I was wrong.
You know what's crazy is I'm not too shocked. I thought this one could go either way, but I think that the TLC match is just so renowned as being so fun that people look on that match way more fondly. And I think that match is remembered today more than Razor and Shawn, just because of the craziness of it. And I think a lot of the listeners, now viewers of the show, probably were right in smack dab in the middle of their teenage years with that TLC match, which probably plays a big factor in the voting process here. So I'm not over. I did vote TLC. I did. I think that match is more enjoyable to watch. So, but that takes nothing away from Shawn Razor.
Who'd you vote for, Jared?
I actually, much like Payne, did vote for the upset, just because if you're comparing the two ladder matches, they're two very different styles, even though 7 years apart. One was kind of working with the ladder, and one was kind of basing everything around the ladder. And, there's also, like, if you're talking rewatchability factors in this Mania season, like the first ladder match at WrestleMania 10 is quite a bit longer than TLC 2, which is barely like 10 minutes, I think. So I thought it was a lot more impactful, and they used their time and they hit all the high notes, and you kind of started at 50 and accelerated and then ended. And, and I think peak Attitude Era against the New Generation Era, I think Attitude Era is going to win every time, personally. Yeah. I think old heads like you and I, Kyle, will probably lean more New Generation, but I think most, as Payton had very well put it, I think a lot of people who watch / listen to this are prime Attitude Era kids, and that's what they remember and know.
Yeah, and this was my childhood versus my teenage years, and I usually, like you said, I'm an old head. I usually gravitate towards my childhood years. There are some exceptions, though, for that. But in this case, I did vote HBK Razor just because I remember that so fondly from my childhood. But I'm not knocking TLC 2. As a matter of fact, I've had a lot of people tell me that this is their fan favorite to win this whole bracket. I've had a lot of people say that 10 seed's going all the way. So it very well could. We could potentially see the TLC 2 win this whole thing. That'll be something to keep our eyes on. The next matchup, the number 3 seed Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 versus number 14 seed Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 5. We all kind of had a feeling who was going to win this one. After 55 votes, the number 3 seed Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock absolutely dominate Savage Hogan 85% to 15%.
Taking nothing away from Savage Hogan, I think it is one of the biggest early WrestleMania main events. The Mega Powers implode. I don't think anybody can take that away from that match, but you can't compare it to Austin Rock. I mean, yeah. Austin Rock at 17, not only with the swerve finish and everything, but if you actually go back and watch that match, it is one of the best pound for pound matches in ever at WrestleMania. I mean, both of those guys bleeding, like the moment in the match towards the end where they're covered in blood and they lock eyes in the corners and they get up and they're going at it again. It's just so good. And it honestly, it will not shock me if this match takes the entire tournament. I think that's how good it is. And I think with those two guys in there together, but no shock here.
Yeah, I've had some people even say that this should have been the number 1 overall seed. And the fact that it's 3, I mean, it's going to make some noise in this bracket for sure. Jared, your thoughts on this one?
There was debate in the selection committee that for it to be number 1, but
yeah, we fought hard for this one.
Ultimately, it landed at 3, and yeah, I voted Austin Rock. I've seen the WrestleMania 5, that show, in the Hogan Savage match probably 100+ times throughout my life. But yeah, Austin Rock at WrestleMania 17, maybe in the discussion, the Mount Rushmore of WrestleMania 17, and the main event more than delivered. So peak Attitude Era, like I said, on the last match, and the top 2 guys of the Attitude Era in their as close to prime as possible for Austin, coming off the injury and
at the peak of their popularity.
Yeah.
Too.
So I mean,
I
mean, Austin Rock, that one's gonna be tough out for anybody left in this tourney.
Yeah, and I went with Austin Rock as well. My way. I mean, come on now. This was like, when you say the word perfection, you could throw the word perfection when you're looking at this WrestleMania match. And I did not go with my childhood in this one. I actually went with my latter teenage years in this one. So, yeah, Jared, this is going to be a tough out. Some people are saying that this is probably the odds-on favorite to win this entire bracket. The last matchup in the Sweet 16, we've got the number 6 seed Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6 versus the number 11 seed Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12. This one at 54 votes, it was a closer one, but we do have an upset. Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart defeats the Ultimate Challenge and will advance to the Elite 8.
That one shocks me. That result, actually, that one I'm pretty surprised by.
59%.
Again, I don't know if I don't know
1%.
I don't know the demos on the WellsMania listeners. I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, what the age ranges are, but I am a bit surprised Iron Man match won.
Yeah, this one was very shocking to me because I feel like the Ultimate Challenge is just a fun match. And I feel like it's a fan favorite. You got the 2 top baby faces in the company going at it. Hogan versus Warrior. The stare down that we got at the Rumble that year leading to this. I mean, it was a match where you were like, oh my God, I can't believe we're actually about to watch Hulk Hogan go one-on-one with the Ultimate Warrior. But that didn't matter. Doesn't matter. People went with the boyhood dream becomes true for Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I talked about a little earlier. I think this might be another case where the actual in-ring bell-to-bell voted had a bigger impact on your listeners than the spectacle of the WrestleMania 6 main event.
Payne, who did you vote for in this one?
Repeat the I was actually right when you started talking about this. Squared Circle Expo messaged me and needed some info to get my press pass. So can you please repeat the results of this one? I was busy there.
HBK versus Hitman beat Hogan Warrior 59% to 41% to advance to the Elite 8.
Not shocked by that outcome. I Hogan and Warrior is a fun match, but I mean, the boyhood dream has come true. The Iron Man match is renowned, is possibly one of the best Mania matches ever. I voted for the Iron Man match. I've seen both matches probably 75 times a piece. I just feel, and I think that knowing how much of a flop the Warrior title reign was, like, after, kind of puts a damper on that match in general, because you know that it was like the moment was great, but it didn't live up to the hype after that.
But that's not what this is about. It's about the match.
No, and I'm just saying that could have affected how people voted.
I hope people didn't vote for the aftermath of the fucking match.
Regardless, I think that the Iron Man match is the better match, so I voted for that.
I voted for my childhood in this one, and I came up short. Here are the matchups. So if you're listening and you were like, oh man, I really wish I could have voted. Well, guess what? You can. All you got to do is follow me on Twitter at WellsMania. I will put the new polls up for the Elite Eight. And on next week's episode of WellsMania Podcast, we will reveal who will be going to the Final Four. Now, here are the matchups for the Elite Eight. We've got the number 16 seed Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 versus the number 8 seed Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3. We've got the number 4 seed The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 versus the number 5 seed Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. On the other side of the bracket, we've got the number 2 seed Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18 versus the number 10 seed Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania 17. And then to round out the Elite Eight, we've got the number 3 seed Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 versus the number 11 seed Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12.
I think there's going to be one. I think there's going to be one upset at least in the Elite Eight.
Do we want to go through those 4 and give our predictions of what we think is going to happen? We don't have to give our picks. We can just say what our prediction will be.
Yeah, we can definitely just throw our thoughts out there on these matchups.
Okay, go through the list. Read them one at a time, and we'll give our predictions for each one.
So we got the number 16 seed, and I can't stress that enough, a 16 seed, which is going to the Elite Eight, beat Hogan versus Andre the Giant. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Don't get me wrong, I love that match, but I don't think it deserved to beat Hogan versus Andre, but what the fuck do I know? Who cares what I think? Its opponent, the number 8 seed, Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat at WrestleMania 3.
You know what? I think you're going to be even more ticked because
I was thinking the same thing.
I think it's going to beat Savage and Steamboat too.
I might not even put up a poll. I might just go ahead and advance Cody versus Roman to the Final Four because maybe that's what's going to win.
Maybe we'll be wrong, but I don't know, man. I got a feeling in my gut.
People are dumb. They're stupid. They're going to vote for the most recent thing that their little peon brains can remember. Oh, WrestleMania 3. Oh, I don't remember that one. Cody versus Roman. Yeah, I remember that one. Fuck off. All right. The next match we have is the number 4 seed, The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 versus the number 5 seed, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. A good old 4-5 matchup here.
I think Taker Shawn takes it. I think it'll be close, but I think that match is so renowned as the greatest WrestleMania match of all time by so many people. I think it edges out the submission match.
Yeah, you said you had quite a few people message you saying Taker Shawn was their winner. I think it's gonna go to the Final Four.
Yeah, I think so too. That one's probably going to be a very dominant win for Taker HBK. On the other side of the bracket, we've got the number 2 seed, Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock at WrestleMania 18 versus the number 10 seed, Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania 17.
This has to go to Hogan Rock. I mean, I love the ladder match, but as far as WrestleMania moments go, you can't compare the two.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be surprised though. I won't be surprised if that TLC 2 pulls off the upset here.
I mean, like I said, it depends on what are people using to vote, but logically,
I don't know what they're using. Clearly, they're not using their brains when they're
logically, the ladder match should not be beating Hogan Rock.
No, it shouldn't. And if it does, people are they're voting with, I don't even fucking know anymore. But anyways, that takes us to the last matchup here. We've got the number 3 seed Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 versus the 11th seed Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 12.
Austin Rock is taking it. The Iron Man match is great, but it's not going to beat Austin Rock. I think Austin Rock, in my opinion, is probably going to make it to the finals. If we're being,
I don't think the hell knows, man.
I mean, the semifinals should be Austin Rock versus Hogan Rock on that side of the bracket. But I don't think the Iron Man match is going to have a chance at beating that.
Yeah, I said Austin Rock was going to be a tough out, and I feel like, yeah, that's.
You know what they say when it comes to March? It's madness, baby, and anything can happen. And I would not be surprised if, for whatever reason, we get more bonehead picks here.
If I was predicting the finals of the tournament, I would say it's going to be Taker and Shawn versus Austin and Rock is probably what the finals are going to look like.
Yeah, at this rate, I think if people actually are serious when they're voting, that should be it. But let's face it, it's probably going to be Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40 versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys at WrestleMania 17.
Would be quite the finals matchup.
And then I'm like, why the hell did I even do this? Because neither one of those are the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. But then again, it's not about me. It's about you. And, that is what I do until I reach my breaking point, which happens to be getting closer and closer and closer every single day. But yeah, what'd you say?
Oh, I thought it looked like he froze there for a second.
I'm frozen in time right here, just pondering my next move that I'm going to make because I was very inspired by the John Cena heel promo, and I cannot wait to see what happens next Monday afternoon on Raw in Glasgow, Scotland. You know, my ancestors, they hail from Scotland. That's where my ancestors come from. So it'll be cool to see the homeland, the home country from my ancestors. But yeah, we will get the polls up on WellsMania Twitter and Facebook. I throw it on Facebook just to kind of bring attention to it, but really go on Twitter because I feel like that's where the majority of the votes are coming in. And I'll lob this out there again. If we get, let's see, we got 431. What's a good number? Should we do 500?
To what? Reveal the match?
To reveal the other play-in?
They had their chance. I don't think we give them the chance now. I think they had it. They failed.
You get nothing. You get nothing.
Like we want to talk about going heel. I am tired of giving people multiple chances. They had their opportunity and they failed their Money in the Bank cash in.
You're damn right she did. That kid right over there is a toxic, dysfunctional relationship. How funny. We didn't even mention the John Cena kid earlier.
That kid is now that he is going to go down in history as like the Miz girl, know, or
the Miz girl,
the streak ending jaw dropped guy. Like he'll go down in infamy.
Whatever happened to that dude? I feel like he's kind of just fallen off and disappeared.
I don't know
You
what
don't
happened. What
hear from
happened to
that guy
Ms.
anymore.
Girl either? You know, there's just that's the most famous. I guarantee you, all them people have that image on their wall somewhere. The portrait
Oh,
of
without a
themselves.
doubt. But this is what needs to happen. I'm going to lay out the blueprint for the John Cena kid meme's parents, if they're listening, all the way over in Brussels, Belgium. I can't speak German, so this message might not reach you. But if it does, you need to let it be known that that is your son, and he is available for WrestleCon and Squared Circle Expo.
We'll book him
and
here. Let's get him on the show.
Yeah.
every other big major wrestling convention and expo. If I were the parents of that boy, I would be reaching out to every single convention and tell them, hey, I'm the dad of Augustus Gloop, and I would love for you to book him for your convention and do meet and greets, because people would love to get their picture taken with that kid.
I want to get him on the show so we can interview him and hear what his thoughts are about John Cena.
Man, that's, you know what? I love that idea. So I don't even know how to go about it, but this is your homework assignment.
There's got to be like WWE German Twitter has to exist. So
Something.
tag, WWE Deutschland or whatever it is, and then I'm sure we can.
Here's your homework assignment, Peyton. When you're on your TikTok lives, I want you to see if you can find anybody from Germany and have them do some legwork over in their home country and try to find this kid, or at least find his parents, and then we can make this happen.
I'll work on it. If any of the listeners have any leads,
we'll
send them our way.
Anything that we can get, because I think that's a fun idea. And man, could you imagine if we were the ones, if we the most underrated wrestling podcast in the world, if we were the ones, not Chris Van Vliet,
you know what?
Not the Busted Open Radio podcast, not Bubba Ray, none of them, but us. That would be a big break.
Now I'm having like ideas here. Let's get all of them interviewed. You talk about the WrestleMania 30 jaw drop guy. What happened to him? Let's get him on the show and ask him. Someone's got to have a contact to this guy.
I want to say his name is Ellis. I think it's like Ellis Mbe. It's something like that.
It's WrestleMania season. Let's get WrestleMania the streak jaw drop guy on the show to do an interview. You
just gave me a great idea. What if on the road to WrestleMania, we just reach out to all of the super fans?
Yeah.
And we try to get them all on. Now I'm buddies with a couple of them that I would hope.
One.
Yeah, he heel turned me back in 2020. So
we don't need him.
Yeah, it is what it is. You are what you are.
You know whose story I'd love to hear is let's get Green Shirt Guy and let's figure out what the real story is.
He is an enigma. I have reached out to people that sit next to him at the shows, and they have told me that he's a super nice guy, but he's very closed off when it comes to people asking him those questions. He's a gatekeeper. And you know what? I'm not mad at him for being a gatekeeper, because if you were to reveal how you do what you do, guess what? It ain't going to be you sitting in that seat anymore.
There's rumors. I think you've probably heard the same rumors I have heard of how he's able to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't even need to ask him those questions. I just like to interview him. I just be like, hey, where did the idea of the smiley face green shirt come from? Did you come up with that? Did someone else come up with that? You've been there for a lot of moments. What's your favorite moment you've ever been there for?
I think
we need to start interviewing these super fans. That needs to happen.
If we were to reach out to Smiles, I think is what his Twitter handle is. He just retweeted me the other day.
There you go. Perfect in.
I don't know if he follows me. He does not follow me, and his DMs are not open, so I'll have to tweet at him directly. But it's at Superfan Smiles with a Z. I'm going to reach out to him after this episode uploads. I'm going to see if he'll come on, maybe not necessarily the next episode, but somewhere on the road to WrestleMania. Because you're right, Payton. I would love to ask him not the question that everybody has been grilling him on, but just who the fuck is this guy? I would like to know, how did you become a wrestling fan? Who's your all-time favorite wrestler? You know, what's your the most prized possession that you have in your wrestling collection? Because I bet that dude has a lot of really cool stuff. So
how many green shirts do you own? Is it one shirt, or do you have a whole safe of them?
In his bio, he says, yes, I have more than just one shirt.
Okay.
It says that in his bio.
So let's get some contacts. Green shirt guy, street guy, the kid from Brussels. If anybody has any word on the Miz girl, we want to interview all of them.
I'm pretty sure that I could probably get Frank the Clown on here.
Frank does owe us one.
He does.
So
he does. Brock Lesnar guy, I'm tight with Michael. He would probably come on here. There's a couple other wrestling fans that if you saw them, you'd recognize them. I can reach out to them as well. But I think this would be a fun gimmick on the road to WrestleMania. And then we can ask them, you know, what match are they looking forward to the most at WrestleMania 41? Speaking of WrestleMania 41, fellas, I did not.
You bought the $25,000 dinner.
No,
$25,000 dinner with John Cena. Is that you bought it? Is that what you're breaking? Put it on the ticker.
That is not where I was going.
Oh,
but I will say that I did not drop $25K to have an intimate dinner with John Cena. But
and you say you support John Cena.
I'm really curious. How is he going to be at this intimate dinner? Is he just going to stare at you?
What if he just no-showed it?
This is John cutting his steak. That's it the whole time.
What would you do if you paid that money and then he didn't even show up because he's like, you didn't earn it?
That'd be awesome. That'd be hilarious. That'd be a good fuck you move.
$25,000 for nothing.
You know, I was telling the lovely Ashley Louise, my fiance, I was telling her, hey, you know, when you and I are out in Vegas, we're going to play the slots. We are going to play blackjack. We are going to try to take house money. We are going to try to take a little bit of Vegas and give it to us. Now, if I do win $25K out there, you bet your ass I'm going to buy a ticket to that intimate dinner, because I know for a fact that intimate dinner is not going to sell out.
I heard there was only six. There was only six. It was 6 spots. I don't know how true that is, but I heard it was only 6 spots.
So does that mean everybody's sitting at the same table?
Yeah, I believe the way it was kind of explained to me, or the thing I saw, was that it would kind of be either a long table or like a circular table. Cena sits in the middle. They have a few people so everyone can kind of ask questions, and he would eat and kind of tell his stories about his career and answer questions and things like that. That's why the intimate part of it is.
That would be pretty cool. But you know what, fellas? I've already done something pretty intimate with John Cena at Kilroy.
You can't say it.
I'm not saying
coming back to me if you say
I'm not saying what we did, because I retired that story, but we shared some intimate moments with one another at Kilroy's back in 2012, and I'll just leave it at that. Because I have retired what unfolded at Kilroy's.
You're pushing it even by acknowledging it.
But no, where I was going with that is unfortunately I missed out on the meet and greet with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Jared was very well aware that I waited in line in the queue for over an hour. I got on there while I was working, so I just got on, left my phone up because it said I didn't have to close out of the page because I wouldn't lose my spot in line, and I just proceeded on with my job. Well, then I got in, and I went to go click on Stone Cold Steve Austin's picture. And as I did, it showed his meet and greet pro photo op and then the autographs. So I went to click on the pro photo op, and then it said it was sold out. And I'm like, I just got in here. Like, how the hell did it sell out that fast? So I got stunned. I got stunned by the other jabronis out there who bought the pro photo op. So unfortunately, I did not get it. I'm pretty bummed about it because I've always wanted to meet Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, as I was telling my fiance, maybe, just maybe, we will run into him in some other capacity out there in Las Vegas, because I'm sure that I'll probably end up running into quite a bit of wrestlers just all over Vegas, because I'm going to be out there for about a week. So we shall see. We shall see. Peyton, are you going to Vegas? Are you going to WrestleMania?
I am not. I contemplated it. I thought about it. It is not going to work out schedule-wise because some other things have come up that may be happening that weekend, but I was on the verge of doing it. I am, however, going to Backlash. I can confirm that.
There you go.
I have purchased my ticket to Backlash in St. Louis, so I can't go to Mania. I will be at the Backlash.
And it's a lot closer and a whole hell of a lot cheaper. So I don't blame you at all. What about you, Jared? Are you going to bite the bullet and go out to Las Vegas?
Unfortunately, it will not work out more financially than schedule wise, but unfortunately I will not be able to make it for Mania this year. I'm going to try to make Backlash happen. Need to see if a couple things shake out schedule wise and things like that. But I know we got next year's Manias in New Orleans, and then Indy's supposed to get one. Nashville's supposed to get one when their stadium's done. So
tighten up.
There's going to be some a little closer, and I think that's more what we're looking at.
I will be going to New Orleans next year. That is set in the schedule. I'm definitely going to there.
Yeah, I've been missing from WrestleMania for a while now. Like I said, WrestleMania 28 was the last WrestleMania that I attended live. So it'll be nice to finally break that streak when I return to WrestleMania next month at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. And then, of course, I'm going to get that WrestleMania itch, Peyton. So you never know, man. Maybe we can get the boys together and take a trip down to NOLA. Me, you, Jared, and the Axeman, the 5-foot giant, Chris Engel, and who knows, a whole cast and crew of WellsMania Podcast people going down to New Orleans. But, man, I am looking forward to WrestleMania 41. We are on the road to WrestleMania 41. I want to thank everybody for listening and running wild on this episode 167 of WellsMania Podcast. Before we go, do either of you have anything else that you want to say before we do the go home?
Go follow me on TikTok at Stone Payne Productions. I am over 5K. I believe I'm at like 5,200 now. So the goal is 6K by WrestleMania. So hopefully we can make that happen. So everybody go and follow me there. And then Stone Payne Prod on X.
Well,
what about you, Jared?
We'll figure out a giveaway if he gets to 6,000 by WrestleMania. Not sure what it would be, but
speaking of giveaways, go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to. I'm going to try to promote for my good buddy WellsMania here. The WellsMania podcast needs a new sponsor. So if you'd like to get your business or products advertised, we've been talking for an hour and 43 minutes. Do you know how many times I could have grabbed a drink and put your logo on camera, or taken a bite of something, or randomly threw in something like we used to do for Johnson County axe throwing? It could have been easy. We could have had product integration. So sponsor my boys' podcast.
I appreciate that. And it's funny. Someone actually saw me at Kroger the other day, and they asked me what happened to Johnson County axe throwing. And I simply just told them they sold the business and they have gone on to a different chapter in their life. And then he said, well, have you thought about reaching out to new sponsors? And I said, I think about it every single day. And the fact that you just brought that up just reiterated that conversation that I had with him the other day. Yeah, Jared's right. If there's anybody out there that's got a business that would love to be featured more, get the recognition that you deserve, all the hard work that you put in to your business. And if you're sick and tired of people no selling your business and not appreciating you, then you're going to fit right in right here on the WellsMania podcast, because that is us to a T. But here's the thing. We are growing rapidly. The amount of new followers and loyal and faithful followers has just been incredible. So, and especially now that we're on the road to WrestleMania, what a time to be a wrestling fan. What a time to be alive. There's no better time than right now to get your name and your business out there. So if you are interested in being a sponsor, go ahead and hit me up at WellsMania on Twitter. You can also hit me up on my Facebook page at WellsMania. Oh, I don't know, 27,000 followers on my WellsMania Facebook page. I think I have a fucking reach on there. I'm just saying. The WellsMania brand is zooming right now, and I want you to be zooming with us. Now, Jared, you said a giveaway. I, for those who can see this, for those who can't, this right here is the WWE Championship title slap bands. These are so hard to find. I found them at a Walmart, and I opened one up earlier on a TikTok live, and I got the World Tag Team title. And I was hoping it'd be the spinner, but I got that. So maybe, just maybe, if Payton hits 6K on his TikTok,
you're going to have to let me know where you found them so I can maybe go grab some.
Ooh, wouldn't you like to know? No, I'll let you know off air, so that way I can gatekeep that with you. Because, why would I want to tell people where to go when we're going to have all the fun? It's part of the giveaway right here. It gives you, little bribery never hurt. But yeah, thank you, Jared, for being a special guest on the road to WrestleMania. We're going to have you back on next episode with the WellsMania Madness greatest WrestleMania match of all time bracket. We will find out who will be advancing to the Final Four. Be sure to get your votes in. Be sure to vote on Twitter at WellsMania. Thank you, Jared. Thank you to the world's greatest co-host, Payne. Be sure to follow him on TikTok. Get him to 6K
giveaway.
6K giveaway. It just rolls right off the tongue. Get him to 6K before WrestleMania. And of course, you can follow me or don't. I don't fucking care anymore. At WellsMania, all over, everywhere. Until next episode. Man, I just want to pull a Cena here and walk away. But I'm not going to. Not yet.
I can finish it for you.
Not yet. I'll close it out. I'm not ready to go full heel yet, but we are sure as hell getting there. I can feel it. It's brewing up inside me, and eventually I'm just going to let it all out. So
embrace the hate. Trust me when I tell you, it feels good to be a heel.
Yeah. I think I'm starting to open my eyes more to that idea. But until next episode, take care, stay positive, run wild, and dominate the day.